Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of troops.
Well, a pleasant good morning, folks. This is Spoon TV. We are coming to you live from the Barclay Training Center here in Central Monrovia. Of course, this is the 69th Armed Forces Day celebration in Liberia. And my name is Nelson Colette. I'm here with Jurassic Joel, and of course, together we're going to be bringing you a live coverage of this national event, a time when the men and women in arms get to be honored, celebrated for their services to the nation. And this is a very colorful event from where we are. Members of the Armed Forces of Liberia, well dressed in their regalia, and of course you have folks from the Joint Security, the Liberia Immigration Service, the Liberia National Police, and of course with the Liberia National Police, and of course folks from the armed forces. And of course, you have folks from the armed forces of Liberia, and of course, Liberians have gathered here as well in their numbers to celebrate this national event. We're going to bring you the happiness every step of the way, and I want to welcome you to this very colorful event. The President of the Republic of Liberia is expected to arrive here very shortly. And of course, you have the folks from the Armed Forces of Liberia there. You have the Liberia Fire Service at the far end there. You have folks from the Liberia National Police as well from this end. Of course, the Liberian National Police represented here as well. 16 delegates, that's 19 delegates from the U.S. Army represented here as well. The U.S. ambassador is also here at this very important event. You have a delegation from Sierra Leone. And of course, you have folks from the immigration service as well that form part of this very colorful area. So this is cool. We want to say welcome. Thanks for joining us. The Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency here as well. The Speaker of the 55th Legislature, Speaker Richard Nabekon, has arrived. The President, Senator Yomi Kalaba, has also arrived. And of course, the President, Vice President of the Republic is expected to arrive here any moment from now. Taking a look at this angle of the arrangement here, you have different battalions, different troops of the Armed Forces of Liberia. They've already done the first parade before we came here. Once the President of the Republic of Liberia arrives, you're going to have the second and final parade. And of course, you have folks from the Joint Security, the Liberia National Fire Service, the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. You have folks from the Staff Association. The Marine Service, of course, is represented here. The Liberia Immigration Service at that end. And of course, this is exactly what the atmosphere is like here. It's a heavily charged atmosphere here this morning. Members of the Customs Brokers Association, the Customs Security, also represented here. And at the far end, you see a very good number of Liberians who have come to witness this very colorful event. This being a national event, a national holiday in Liberia. there are folks who come from different parts of the country to witness this colorful event. So we want to take you at this end to give you an idea of what's happening here. As you see from this end, the pro tem, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, at the far end there, the president pro tempore of the Liberian Senate. Seated next to her is General David Foley, the Minister of State without portfolio. That's the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Minister Sam Steve Quia, is there next. And of course, you have other dignitaries, officials of government, the Minister of Education right there, as you see at the far end there. And of course, members of the 55th legislature are also here this morning. The Speaker, Honorable Richard Nangwe-Kun, is seated at the far end there. Let's try to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this one is being blocked from here. But the Speaker, Honorable Richard Nangwe-Kun, is seated at the far end there. You have Representative Priscilla Cooper of District 5, Montserrat County, at the far end there. And other members of the legislature are expected to arrive here very soon. So this is the atmosphere here this morning, live at the Barclay Training Center here in Central Monrovia, where the official Armed Forces Day celebration is taking place. Former Minister Bernie Samakai, who was just named the head of the Yellow Machine Board, seated right there, right behind the pro tem Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, and the U.S. ambassador is here as well. You have folks from a delegation from the U.S. Army represented here this morning. It's a very colorful event, bringing together members of the Joint Security and the international community, international partners, and other embassies near Monrovia, all coming together at this one venue to celebrate the armed forces of Liberia, the men and women in arms who have decided to serve their country. This is Spoon TV. I'm Nelson Colette. We are here this morning alongside Israel Jurassic Joe at the Barclay Training Center, bringing you all of the happiness here as Liberia celebrates the 69th Armed Forces Day. The President of the Republic of Liberia
announce the arrival of the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine George, retired.
Brigadier General Geraldine George is now making her way, as you see from that end. The Minister of National Defense of the Republic of Liberia. She's being escorted by folks, members of the armed forces of Liberia, and at this point, they are going to perform the regular rituals as they welcome the Minister of National Defense. She's now making her way for this very colorful event. Spoon TV. Right hand salute. Facing the men and women representing different troops here this morning. This is Spoon TV. Of course, All right, so
Honorable Minister of Justice,
the
Republic of Liberia.
the Justice Minister, we're told, is arriving. He has been announced. Let's see as to whether we capture that. Okay, so Grand Cape Mountain County Senator. Oh no, not the senator, but yes, you have the defense minister still moving to take a seat there, and the live band from the Armed Forces of Liberia in the background. Of course, this is what the situation is here this morning. It's a heavily charged security atmosphere here this morning. We're getting signals that any moment from now, the president of the Republic of Liberia will be arriving. Jurassic, good morning. You have been closely covering the executive, precisely the president. What do we have so far as the arrival of the president?
Thank you, Nursing.
Is managed by
Good
Lieutenant
morning, everyone.
Diana
Today is
K.
the
Hay.
Armed Forces Day celebration, and
Just hold it.
thank you, Nursing. Today is the Armed Forces Day celebration. So this morning, all dignitaries and ministers, well-known officials will be here today. After the arrival of these officials, then the president will arrive. So as soon as the president enters, and then automatically nobody is allowed to come in. That's the protocol here. So when the president enters, he'll be greeted by the chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, and after that he will then be honored. Then he will inspect the troops, and after inspecting the troops, and then he will take a seat, and the program continues from there.
So yes, the president is expected to inspect the troops as soon as he arrives. But what we gathered earlier is that once the president arrives, absolutely no one will be allowed to enter the premises of the Barclay Training Center this morning.
The president is the last person to enter, so that's why the president is pushed way down to about 10 a.m. this morning. As soon as the president enters, automatically nobody is allowed to enter. The program officially starts.
Yeah. So yeah, folks, this is where we are this morning. Liberia is celebrating the 69th day, the 69th Armed Forces Day of Liberia, and it's a very colorful event here. Huge security presence, the sounds of the sirens in the background. There are indications that
I know I own this thing.
I'm
I
pleased
think he will take a saddle.
to announce the arrival I'm pleased to announce the arrival of Lieutenant General Waidi Shaib, Chief of Army Staff, Nigerian Army.
well, the Chief of Army Staff of the Nigerian Army has just arrived here at the Barclay Training Center as part of there he disembarks his vehicle.
You know,
He's being escorted.
Nigeria has been a strong partner when it comes to the military.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We have our
Lieutenant General Shaib was once
discussing is
to the armed forces of Liberia.
All right, so you have the
During his service to the armed forces of Liberia, he served with due diligence.
well the Lieutenant General of the arm of the Nigerian Army has been received by the Minister of National Defense
General
of the Republic of
is
Liberia,
that nation.
Lieutenant General Shahid, has now been escorted by the former president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the former president. Well, the former president of the Republic of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has arrived here. She's now walking to take her seat.
Former
President
of the Armed Forces of Liberia.
Former president, Republic of Liberia.
So we're informed, Jurassic, we're informed that the two former presidents are expected to be here this morning. Earlier on, I understand I got to establish that President Sirleaf will be here, and for sure we've seen her. Next up, we look forward to seeing former President George Weah,
Definitely.
whom we're also told is expected to grace this national event here this morning. Whether
Please be seated.
past presidents or not, they all served this country, they paid their dues, contributed to this nation, and we can only look forward to seeing former President George Weah, the first female president of Africa, the Nobel Peace Laureate, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a peace sector, and of course an icon in Liberian politics, or let's say global politics, has arrived here this morning. What does that signal, Jurassic?
So, as it should be, right? All former commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia had to grace such an occasion. So this shows this dignifies unity in our country. Like all Liberians are wishing for this moment where all presidents will come together to grace an occasion, like this. So if the former president will be here, it will be applause, and more Liberians will be happy to see two former presidents along with the President Joseph Newman Walker praising such an occasion. And it will be an honorable one if three of them would at least shake hands, greet the armed officials and greet the people of Liberia. These are moments that Liberians are wishing to witness. So we are with the former president to be, as soon as he comes, it will be applause. But mostly all invitations that have been extended to former president have not really been welcome or grace. So we are with this moment, as soon as it arrives, and we'll see how it will be.
Yeah, like the National County Sports Meet, these events are expected to unify the country, unify the national leaders, irrespective of differences. Liberians get to come together to celebrate, especially the existence of the National Army, and pay respect to the country that we all belong to. So we're still looking forward to seeing more arrivals here this morning. The president is yet to arrive. The vice president is yet to arrive as well. We've seen the speaker taking his seat. The pro tem is already taking his seat as well. And that means that the legislature is fully represented here. I did see a few lawmakers here. I did see a few lawmakers here from both the legislature and from both the Senate, rather, House of Representatives. So we can now look forward to what happens in the next couple of minutes, in like an hour from now. So this is what it is here at the Barclay Training Center this morning. Spoon TV, we are coming to you live from the
The
69th
Environmental
Anniversary
Protection
celebration here
Agency
at the Barclay Training
is
Center
commanded
in Monrovia.
by
At the
Inspector
moment,
General
that is expected
Harold
to unify
Maizino
Liberians.
W.
We've
Brown.
seen former President Ellen Johnson
The flag bearer
walking here,
is
taking
Officer Romel
and we are looking forward
the
to
First
seeing
Sergeant
other
is
officials
Assistant
of
Director
government as well.
Stephen S. Gonke.
At the far end, you have a very
And
good
the
number of
Liberian
Liberian
Scouts
citizens who have come here
Association
to witness this event too.
is commanded
Um,
by Scout Master Abraham Howard.
so there's still more
The
arrivals going
flag
on
bearer
here. At the
is
far end there, you have a
Alex
very good number of
Logan.
citizens. Sorry.
And
Who
the First Sergeant
have gathered here
is Christopher
to witness this
J.
event,
Blamo.
and you have Liberians killed even at the very entrance of the Barclay Training Center this morning. Some of them, this is how they get to celebrate the Armed Forces Day, and this is how they get to feel the actual meaning, the actual definition of Armed Forces Day in the country. This for them is a privilege because of the 5 million plus citizens of the country, you have less than 1% who get to make it up here at the Barclay Training Center to witness this very important event. The folks, the troops, the different battalions are still queued in there. The formation is tight. The flags are hosted, representing their respective institutions. Members of the joint security are fully represented here this morning as well. The Liberian National Police, I did see the 102, the 101, sorry, of the Liberian National Police, the Deputy IG for Administration, um, Colonel Morba here this morning. And I also saw the acting, that's the OIC, the officer in charge of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, represented here. The Liberian National Fire Service is also represented here as well this morning. And other members of the joint security are here. At the far end there, you'll see officers of the Liberia Immigration Service. The queue is tight this morning. It's a heavily charged atmosphere of huge security presence here this morning. That's exactly what you have happening here at the Barclay Training Center. So, well, yes, you have Finance Minister Honorable Augustine Wehe Gafwan making his way. He has just arrived here at the Armed Forces Day celebration. Of course, Honorable Augustine Wehe Gafwan, the Finance Minister, has been received and is now moving on to make his way.
Ladies and gentlemen, to announce the Honorable Minister of Finance, Republic of Liberia.
While the Finance Minister has taken his seat. So we're still looking forward to seeing other officials come here this morning. We're still looking forward to seeing more officials of government make their way here this morning. So Jurassic, this is where we are. As per the official protocol here this morning, we're told that the president is expected to arrive at about 10 a.m. and that will mark the official start of the 69th Armed Forces Day of Liberia celebration here. But the sirens in the background could just be a sign that either the president or the vice president could just arrive at any point. We're yet to see the Chief Justice.
So let me just read out the protocol for
Okay.
today. So arrival of the media 6:30 to 7:40 a.m. and then the arrival of guests and the public will be 7:40 to 7:45, and we have seen that. The arrival of the Deputy Chief of Staff. Deputy Chief of Staff is already here, 7:45 to 7:50 a.m. The arrival of the parade military heads, 7:50 to 7:55 a.m. We have the arrival of the Chief of Staff, 7:55 to 8 a.m. We have the arrival of the Doyen and members of the diplomatic corps from 8 to 5 minutes to 8. We have the arrival of the deans and members of the cabinet, 8:10 to 8:12. We have the arrival of the honorable members of the House of Representatives,
Yeah.
From 8:12 to 8:14 a.m. And then we have the arrival of the President pro tempore and members of the Liberia
Ladies and
Senate,
gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce
8:14 to
the
8:17.
Honorable Minister
Have
of
the
State
arrival of His
Barclay.
Honor, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of Liberia. It starts from 8:17 to 8:19. We have the arrival of the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives from 8:19 to 8:25 a.m. We have the arrival of the former presidents of the Republic of Liberia from 8:25 to 8:30. We just received the former president Eddie here.
Yeah. So we see another arrival here, but we just saw the arrival of Minister Mama Ability while you were reading through the agenda, the protocol here this morning.
So that's the
And-
vice president.
Okay. Would it be the vice president?
So that's your
Prop-
five.
Okay. You think that's the vice president's official vehicle, right? But the Minister of National Defense, yes, that's the vice president because I see his photographers, his official photographers.
The
The
vice
minister,
president official plays 05.
the Minister of National Defense has stepped forward to receive
Ladies and gentlemen,
the vice president of the
to
Republic
announce
of
the
Liberia.
of His Excellency Jeremiah
Jeremiah
Barclay,
Pankun is now
Vice
to
President,
take his seat.
Republic of Liberia.
He's being escorted by the Minister of National Defense here this morning at the Barclay Training Center. This is all a part of the activities leading to the official celebration of this national event, the Armed Forces, the 69th Armed Forces Day of Liberia. It's been 69 years since the Armed Forces Day, since this day was set aside to celebrate the National Army of the Republic of Liberia. The Vice President's vehicle will now disembark the driveway. This is an indication that in a moment from now, we are going to see the arrival of the President. Following that, we will see the President inspect the troops. The troop is all set up. The formation is in tight, different battalions, different units representing the full joint security here this morning at the Barclay Training Center. Folks from across the Liberia Immigration Service and other institutions are here this morning.
So, Narcy, let's talk about the protocol here. See how arranged this event looks here this morning. You want to see the vehicle that the ex-president or officials are riding will only be allowed in. So other escorts will stay behind.
Okay.
So that's how it works here. So even if the president comes, the president vehicle, only the president vehicle will be allowed to come closer, and then he will step out and go to his thing. So that's how it is. So no additional escorts is allowed to pass through there.
You're in the camera. Spoon TV has captured you already.
Yeah, so that's it's not allowed to be there.
All right, so yeah, that's just for fun. But it's a very colorful event here this morning, guys.
It's not allowed.
And I we're getting indications that the president will be arriving in a moment from now. And this is a colorful event. Jurassic, just watching from a distance there, you see the different flags are being posted. The flag of Liberia, and I'm yet to identify the other flags there. But it's very colorful. Maybe somebody could help me out. The AFL flag, is it the one in the middle? Okay, so these are all. Okay, so okay, all
Yeah, the
right.
flag is next to the.
Next there you have the flag of the Armed Forces of Liberia. This
And
is
the
a
other one is
this
the joint security.
yeah, joint security. So it's a very colorful event, a day when we get to appreciate and celebrate our men and women in arms. And we are looking forward now to seeing the president arrive here. We're also looking forward to seeing other officials. But so far, we've seen bulk of the officials arrive already at Jurassic. You saw the speaker. The speaker is already seated. The pro tem is seated as well. The vice president of the Republic of Liberia has taken his seat too. And then ministers, directors, heads of the joint security have already taken their seats too. And so yes, so far we're looking forward now to seeing the arrival of the president. With the time at
8:43.
yeah, that's 17 minutes up to 8 o'clock at night. So 17 minutes up to 9 o'clock this morning, and so again, good morning, folks. We are doing our best to make some adjustments here. So we have this um, program coming to you. So you still have arrivals going on. There's still a lot of arrivals. Some officials of government still arriving here. They're being escorted. We did see the finance minister um, here this morning as well. Minister Augustine Kwehe um, Minister Mamaka Ability she arrived as well. She was being escorted, and there are other officials still making their way here this morning at the Barclay Training Center. So this is Spoon TV. We're here this morning live at the Barclay Training Center, and making sure we can bring you all of the happiness here this morning.
So colorful and beautiful occasion here. We understand that AFL have played a significant role from safeguarding national borders to participating in peacekeeping missions and supporting national stability. And work of the citizens depends on the armed forces for protection. So we understand in our society, whenever the AFL comes out, everybody go in a shift. So that's how Liberians or all citizens respect their army. So this day is set aside to celebrate them, to honor them, for their service and their contribution to the country. So Liberians all around, they are watching. Some of them are coming in. So again, what I observe here is that citizens can just enter once you come to watch the event. You can just enter without invitation. So it tells you that how welcoming this occasion is. You know, anybody for that matter without an official invitation, you can come in to watch the ceremony. So it's a beautiful moment here, as you can see. The joint security, the Liberia National Police, the Liberia Immigration Service, and all joint security tag folks, they are all here, dressed, well dressed in their uniform to honor this occasion.
Yeah, Jurassic, you're right. This this event being a national one, um, there are some Liberians who have not seen the official Armed Forces Day celebration. Aside from it just being a national holiday, there are so many Liberians who have not seen an official Armed Forces Day celebration. So I remember several years back, the very entrance of the Barclay Training Center was was hugely jam packed. Let me put it that way. It was jam packed as Liberians had trooped in to witness the occasion. So um, yes, like you said, it's not by any special invitation. It's a national event. But it's just that it's the protocol, the security at the entrance is very, very tight.
No,
Very
but
tight
definitely
security
because we
presence.
have people from different
Yeah,
areas,
the
you know,
VIPs
officials
and
that are
the
here. So
VVIPs and all
you
that.
have to do that. You have to carry on the normal session, you know, in observing for any weapons or whatever. But yeah, all citizens are welcome. Once you want to watch this event, you are welcome to come in and respectfully you'll be honored a seat or a place to stand so that you can watch the occasion. But mind you, no disorder. You know, once you start to misbehave, you know the army will put you in the right place. So once you want to watch such an occasion, you know, you can come and then you can watch this event without anybody bothering you. You know, you can peacefully watch the event. So
Yeah, so Jurassic, I want us to go back a little bit into a brief historicity of the national the armed forces of Liberia. Well, it was established as the Liberia Frontier Force in 1908. Remember, Liberia gained her independence in 1847 after the two different periods we had in the country. The colonial period running from 1822 to 1839, and the Commonwealth period from 1839 to 1847. And then following that, Liberia gained her independence in 1847. So the National Army, at first, it was the Liberia Frontier Force, founded in 1908. It was being retitled in 1956, and for almost all of its history, the AFL has received considerable material and training assistance from the United States. And that is why, in fact, you have a huge presence of the U.S. military here this morning. 19 members delegation here represented at this 69th Armed Forces Day celebration. That is
and
to signal the enormous contribution that the United States government has made to Liberia through the National Army. Yeah, you wanted to come in.
and that was the Liberia Frontier Force was honored President Arthur Barclay.
Yeah,
You know that's what the parade is making is honor.
yeah, the Barclay
Barclay,
Training
the Barclay
Center.
Training Center.
Definitely. So yes, so for almost for most of the 1940 to 1989 period, trainings were largely provided by the U.S. Advisors through their assistance, and through that assistance, in fact, um, Liberia was able to make enormous progress with respect to building a solid military that made Liberia to be recognized across the world. And most times you hear Liberia declared war on Germany, and all of those different things you hear. Those were, and you have many historic sites in the country, like you have the Omega, for example. You have several historic sites in Liberia that sort of points to history, points to the many contributions that the United States has made to building Liberia's own army.
And
So,
America have been very supportive when it comes to the training aspect of our military and also donating equipments to our military. So it been from days, like we would say in our Liberian term, Liberia is America baby, So they've been there, they've been supportive to the entire Liberia forces back then up to now. So you always find them in such a ceremony like this, where they will come to witness Liberians celebrating this occasion. So
yeah, so yes, going back to the historicity of the armed forces of Liberia, uh, in February 6, 1908, the military was established as a permanent basis as the 500 strong Liberia Frontier Force, and at the time it was the LEFF. LFF.
Liberia
Now,
Frontier Force.
yeah, now we have the AFL, but at the time it was the LFF. So the mission of the LFF at the time was to patrol the borders in the hinterland against the British and French territorial uh, 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 ambitions, and also to prevent disorder along those different corridors. And all of these were the building blocks to getting us to where we are now. Started several so many decades back, but today it has been refined. And of course, the armed forces of Liberia get to be recognized and celebrated on this day.
A delegation from the Republic of Ghana.
So we await after this occasion and see if the army will do another recruitment, because we've learned for the past months there have been announcement of a recruitment of additional force to be added to the armed forces of Liberia. So right after this occasion, we will see if how many men and women will be part of
The new
this
recruit.
day.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see if we can get from the stage there what's happening there.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Let's have a little bit of capture from. Wow. So this guy's black tape is a criminal. Is a
Not
In front of the band unit,
sorry.
the band.
Okay.
Training
So yeah.
the Republic of Ghana. Several men also took training from the Republic
Have
of Ghana. As I speak to you, I
stage
have
set.
updated my senior staff course, the
And
Republic of Ghana.
the MC,
You can see how
the master of ceremony,
our partnerships
is laying out or giving reasons why there isn't a delegation from Ghana, but despite the absence of a Ghanaian delegation, he's also outlining the many contributions. He's also outlining the many contributions of the Ghanaian military on the armed forces of Liberia. Like Jurassic stated just recently, Jurassic, like you stated recently, there has been a series of announcements on the radio uh, talking about
The recruitment.
a pending recruitment. I did listen to some officials of the the armed forces of Liberia making that disclosure, and what we're being told is that every year there's going to be some sort of recruitment exercise, so as to beef up
Ladies and gentlemen,
the
I have
manpower, the strength of the
notified
armed forces of
that
Liberia.
the
So we're looking forward to some
ambassador
happenings.
of the People's Republic of China is here. I would like to recognize your presence, sir.
Well, the Chinese
I
ambassador
would also like to recognize the presence
here this morning.
of the ambassador of the Republic of India.
Heads of different diplomatic missions in the country are fully represented here this morning. At the far end there, you have members of the U.S. military represented from that end. And of course, you have folks from different paramilitary organizations here this morning. The finance minister, Minister Augustine Kwehiga, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Minister Sam Steve Kuya. You have the President Pro Tempore of the Liberia Senate, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence. You have the Minister of National Defense, and you have the Vice President, all in that first lineup at the front row there, right next to where the president is about to be seated. There, right before us, is the podium, and that the president is going to make his official statement from this morning. And of course, you have at the far end there the deputy speaker of the Republic of Liberia. So the speaker is here, but we are yet to see the deputy speaker, Honorable Thomas P. Fala, here this morning. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is seated there, as you see. The former president, former commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia, and of course we have other members here from different organizations this morning. Thanks for joining us, Spawn TV. We are coming to you live from the Barclay Training Center, bringing you all of the live happenings, all of the happenings here live, commemorating the 69th Armed Forces Day celebration in Liberia. I see some bags of rice. I'm yet to establish what those bags of rice are for, but I see some bags of rice.
You are viewing the rice there.
Mm-hmm.
Is the production from the Amphos of Liberia agriculture company.
Oh
We
wow!
grow our own rice. That the display. This is a pilot project, and we have produced this quantity.
Oh wow! So
Why
the Armed
if-
Forces of Liberia grows her
Grow
own rice. Wow! Wow! So
Ladies and gentlemen,
we've just been informed that the rice you see there are produce of the armed forces of Liberia. They have their own rice. They have their own farm. They grow their own rice. So it's this what you see here was more like a pilot project. So that is why you see it on display. So the armed forces of Liberia is not just about holding the arms, but the men and women in arms are being productive as well, making sure that they can get involved with other productive activities if well supported. Yeah. So the reason why you see the rice on display here is to send a message that if the armed forces of Liberia is supported very well, receive the necessary fundings, given the necessary equipment, beyond just protecting the territorial borders of Liberia, the armed forces of Liberia can feed the nation, feed herself. So that's exactly what you see before us. The rice you see there is organic, it's not an imported rice produced by the armed forces of Liberia. This is Spoon TV, and we're hearing the sound of the sirens. There are movements. It appears that the president of the Republic of Liberia could just be arriving in a moment from now. The Minister of National Defense has moved forward, escorted by Brigadier General Follet, to receive the president of the Republic of Liberia. Her principal deputies are standing alongside her as they all gear up to receive the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia. This is Spoon TV. Thanks for joining us. All right, so we're still seeing arrivals here. We're still seeing arrivals here with this vehicle. All right, so another arrival here. Let's see who this is. All right. A guest has arrived. Let's see if we can have the protocol make the official announcement as to who this guest actually is. But the guest has been received by the Minister of National Defense here. It's all happening at the Barclay Training Center. And of course, this is Spoon TV. The atmosphere is charged.
Which allows the Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Defense of the Republic of Ivory Coast.
Okay, so that's the Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Defense of Cote d'Ivoire, the Republic of Ivory Coast, arriving here this morning at the Barclay Training Center. Like we stated earlier, you have delegates from neighboring countries. So this is Cote d'Ivoire. You have the delegates from Sierra Leone here this morning. All right, so there you have the officials, the delegates now moving to take their seat, shaking hands and greeting the officials of government who are currently on the stage. This is Spoon TV. The atmosphere is getting very charged here. There's huge security presence as all of the VIPs are currently at the Barclay Training Center. The Vice President seated there. Next to him, you have the Pro-Tem, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence. Other officials of government here this morning. So the defense minister is still posted here to receive the guests. So so you have yeah. So Representative Moima Bridge Mesa there of Bone County. All right. So
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize the
represent
presence
Wema Bridge Mensa.
of the Joint and all members of the diplomatic corps.
So this is the atmosphere here. Looking at the far end there, folks, you have the beautifully dressed men and women of the armed forces of Liberia, folks from the joint security, holding high the flag of Liberia and the flags representing their respective institutions. At the far end there, of course, this is what the atmosphere is like here this morning. Liberians are looking forward to seeing what the president is going to highlight here this morning. But obviously, the president's address here this morning or his remarks would center is highly likely, Jurassic. It is highly likely that the president's address here this morning will center around national security, respect for the rule of law, and the likes. But it remains undisclosed for now till the president takes the stage. And yeah, but again, on these kinds of events, you expect that, these kinds of issues will be addressed. And I remember the last Armed Forces Day celebration, the president did mention the progress that has been made with respect to security in the country, how the armed forces of Liberia has transformed into a force beyond just holding arms, but a productive force that is cementing bridges between Liberia and other neighboring countries. That based on the kind of national army we have, the threat levels have been reduced significantly within the sub-region. And so we can only look forward to seeing what happens. But one moment to capture here this morning, Jurassic, just before you come in, is that, remember Minister Brandon Samukai, he used to be the Minister of National Defense. He's the longest serving defense minister ever in the history of Liberia. He served as defense minister for 12 unbroken years under former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Following his service to country, he was dragged to court. And you know the rest of the story. The Army Money Saga, he was indicted. He had to pay a portion of the money. The former president, through executive clemency, got that off his shoulders, got that indictment off his shoulders. But he's here this morning. Mr. Brendan Samukai, I want to see if we can. Okay,
He's sitting right
sitting right
beside.
at the back, right behind the finance minister there. That's Minister Brendan
That
Samukai
right
there.
side, we got the security advisor to the president,
Yeah,
and we got the army advisor to the president, former defense minister.
yeah. So he's seated right in that bracket amongst those top brass security practitioner in the country.
And you know, he worked with the both of them, when he was minister, and Zanga was serving as the chief of staff then, and then before assuming the office of defense minister.
Yeah, you're right. And so right behind them, we have other ministers as well. I don't know if you've taken notice, but you have the political advisor to the president, so Honorable Mandela Cooper at the back end. Next to her, you have, I don't know who that is, but you have the education minister there as well. And then
Behind her is the advisor to the president, sitting right behind her there. That's the advisor
but
to
there
the
are several
president.
advisors to the president.
The chief advisor to the president is right behind her.
But I also see the justice minister as well. The justice minister is sitting on the far right to the education minister. Right next to the education minister, there behind that pole you have the information minister, Minister Jeremy Pia, and then you have Minister Mamaka Ability at the far end there. So this is what the atmosphere is like here this morning. Official celebration of the 69th Armed Forces Day celebration in Liberia. This national event brings together former and current leaders of the country, stakeholders, dignitaries, heads of different diplomatic nations in the country, heads of the different embassies. I see the European Union, the head of the European Union delegation to Liberia, Ambassador Leonard DePries, at the far end there. Just before getting to where you have the U.S. Army representation, the delegates. And so this is what the atmosphere is like here this morning. For many Liberians, this will be their first time witnessing or watching an official Armed Forces Day in Liberia. Some of them have trooped in this morning at the Barclay Training Center, left their homes, left their businesses or business schedules to witness this colorful event. So we're now awaiting the arrival of the president.
So, nursing, we are yet to receive the former president.
Former President George, we are
Yes.
but former President Ellington sincerely is already here.
And I'm sure invitation was extended to every one of them.
Yeah, invitations were extended. Invitations were extended. It's just that we're yet to see it. But again, we're still at that point where just anything could happen. There are possibilities that the former president George Weah who just arrived here at any moment from now, and it's also possible that he may not honor the invitation to be here this morning. But this is a national event, Jurassic. It goes beyond political parties, political differences. It's like the national county. In fact, it's even more than the national county sports meet. It's like the Lone Star of Liberia going in a match with another nation. Then we get to come together irrespective of counties and all of that. So similarly, whether you're from the Unity Party, you're from the CDC, the ALP, or any political party, such an event is that time when we all get to lay down our political regalia, we lay down our political differences and come together as one, as a nation, as a people to celebrate our men and women in arms.
And these are unifying occasions, like seeing former president having a chit chat with president.
With the current president.
It shows that Liberians are united, and these are moments that Liberians want to see. They've been wanting such an occasion where former presidents and the current president will have this kind of a sitting where every one of them will be at an occasion.
Yeah.
These are moments that they want to witness. So like I said, there have been several invitations that have been extended to former President Weah, but we don't know why is it these invitations are not honored. And
Well, not to make the former president the center of the conversation here, but maybe you want to go back a little to the State of the Nation address, the SONA. There were concerns as well as to why the former president did not attend the State of the Nation address, when in fact it was a national event that was expected to see folks coming together, irrespective of where they sit politically, to listen to what the progress of the country is. But again, It's optional. It's one thing to extend an invite to someone. It's another thing for that person to honor the invite. You know, and
I think the president is here.
yeah, the invited guest who decide to honor your invite or not. You know, so and the reasons provided could be genuine or not. You know, so that's just the situation. I see the executive horn is already here, moving close to finding that space where he can blow that horn next to the president to let him know that executive horn is around. He's working, he's performing his duty.
The man is wearing
The red, white, and blue.
color.
Yeah. So, but I see the minister has been here for pretty close to 20 minutes. Okay, so I see the first vehicle in the presidential motorcade. Jurassic, you see at the far end there. The first vehicle in the presidential motorcade just arrived.
The president is here.
And I see the president's security details running and trying to set the stage for the president. All right, so this is where we are. All right, so the president has arrived. The second and third vehicles in the presidential motorcade has entered the Barclay Training Center.
So, again, only the president vehicle is allowed to.
I'm at a proton now for you. All right, so lights flickering from every corners.
Yeah, okay, camera. Got my name from it.
The lights flickering from every corners as the president makes his way here now at the Barclay Train.
Speaker press.
Speaker press.
Man, they move on over.
All the executives just going for them.
These guys.
Yo, what up? Go down there.
Imagine. So the president's vehicle is right at this end. So President Barclay will shortly President Barclay
Distinguished
now
ladies
disembarking
and
his vehicle.
I'm pleased now
A standing ovation
to announce the arrival
from across.
of His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia.
President Barclay has arrived, making his way, being escorted by
So as no the program is about to start now,
the officials.
and then we would then receive the salute for the children.
The commander of troops
Commander of troops.
to present to His Excellency Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Forces of Liberia for honor to the nation.
All right, so the president.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of troops is now marching across to present
Commander
his
Yes, the commander of troop.
excellency
All right, so there you have the commander of
armed forces of Liberia for honor
marching to present the troops to the president of the Republic of Liberia. Folks, this is a colorful event here. The commander of troops marches forward towards the president of the Republic of Liberia.
president. Inform him that
Right hand salute, president of the Republic of Liberia.
ladies and gentlemen,
He now goes back, moves towards the troops,
play of the national
marches through the corridor,
all military and paramilitary
and of
personnel
course,
wearing uniform must salute. White civilians who place their right hand over the left side
close
of the
to the
chest.
speaker.
White civilians recognize
There's a speaker right in the back.
to remove
There's a speaker right in the back.
and place the right hand over the left side of the chest.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. So, the president watches closely.
The national anthem.
The national anthem will roll through at this point. All hail Liberia. The president and officials here this morning have all stood still. Some with the right hand salute, some with their hands on their chest, as the national anthem is being played by the live band of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Speaker of the 55th Legislature, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Pro-Tem Senator Yomrikan Lawrence, the Finance Minister, the Defense Minister right there, and of course the President of the Republic of Liberia. At the far end, you have the troops waving high the flag of Liberia as the national anthem rolls in the background. This is Spoon TV. Thanks for joining us.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, please be seated.
The president now move forward to the seat, escorted by the defense minister and other officials. So, the troops,
Y'all leave for the guests.
heads of the troops, right here.
I respectfully request that you please remain standing for the invocation,
So,
which
the
will
official
Bishop Jackson
they're about to block my face, bro.
Imam Isa. Let us pray. O gracious and everlasting God, the creator of all, we come before you today to lift up the men and women serving in our armed forces. We ask that you surround them with your favor, Lord, and shield. Strengthen them in the trials. Give them courage to face the craft. Father, we surrender them thy presence in your grace. We pray, O God, that you, God, will be with us as we go through this time. Father, be the God over your people who are called by your name. Lord God, we thank you for those who travel from countries to be with us to celebrate on this day. We say, Lord, bless and keep us. Amen.
In the name of the Almighty God, the most gracious, the most merciful, oh Allah, we thank you for your divine blessings upon the armed forces of Liberia.
Christian prayer.
Oh Allah, we pray
The Muslim
for
representative
collaboration
has
and
now taken the stage to offer prayer.
that they serve as the platform for fostering unity, peace, and tranquility in Liberia and in the world. In the name of the Almighty God, we pray.
All right.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, please.
The invocation, and the president will now take a seat.
The commander of troops will now post the colors.
Well, this is Spoon TV. Thanks for joining us at the commander of troops there. Well, the commander of troops in a powerful display there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Equal Party is now marching to post the colors. Colors are now posted.
Everybody come in here.
The commander of troops will now request permission from the commander-in-chief for the inspection of troops.
Well, the president is expected to inspect the troops shortly.
The commander of troops is now marching the commander-in-chief.
So, wait.
Yeah, executive mansion 1.
So,
EFBC 1, MOD 1.
all right. So,
MOD. Executive mansion.
right, so the president
EFBC.
will now
No,
Spoon TV.
they are authorized.
Spoon TV.
Yeah, Sef, go.
Hello. Spoon TV.
That means the
Hello? Spoon TV.
no, you don't go, you don't go.
Okay, say
Okay, put at the auto ride. You say you stay right here, the auto ride, it's going there. Yeah, gentlemen, just stay.
The Razi portable, you're sitting right here.
Go. They're already there, already.